We are back. What's going on, everybody? Got another powerful live today, also podcast. So happy Thursday. I'll let you all kind of start to jump on. Let's see here. Yeah, I see Paige just joined. What's up, Jeff? What's good, everybody? How's everybody's Thursday? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? We have a really dope ass guest that's coming on. A leader that really, her zone of genius is around a concept called human design. So I just want to know, out of everybody that's joining right now, first of all, welcome. As always, drop one thing that you're grateful for today. Drop one thing, one word. You know, maybe something you want to share, either something you're grateful for or something that you're feeling. If you're feeling powerful, drop powerful. If you're feeling motivated, motivated. If you're feeling depressed, put depressed. Whatever you're feeling, whatever emotion you are feeling, I want you to drop it in the comments. Or if you want to share something that you're also just grateful for, drop it in the comments. Let me see how everybody's feeling right now. Gratitude to God. Yes. Thank you so much for having another beautiful day, a blessing day, to connect with all of you, to share with all of you, my network and the powerful leaders that are in our lives, right? So I'm so excited to bring on Paige to talk about human design, leadership. Yes, I love that. Clear, life, blessed. That's what I'm talking about. I love seeing that. I love seeing that. Also, I want to know where you guys coming in from. So I know our whole community is global, so I just love to see where you're coming in from around the world. So also drop where you're coming in from. I love that, Thomas. Thank you for your vulnerability, insecure. That's super powerful. You grateful for your healthy body. I love that. I feel excited to produce. Yes, I feel super motivated. Last night I was watching Kobe Bryant's documentary, and I'm just like, it really switched on that Mambo mentality, right? Like, it just really got motivated. I'm going to talk more about that later, but for now, let me see where everyone's coming in from. We got Texas, North Carolina. We got Amsterdam in the house. We got the ATL in the house. We got Ohio in the house. I love it. Paige is in Ohio. You're excited about this? Cool. So, guys, I also want to ask you all if you know about human design. If you know about human design, give me either a thumbs up or a number 1. If you don't know what human design is, give me a thumbs down or a number 2. That way I can kind of see where you guys are at with learning about this concept, human design. It's something that I didn't know about probably 3 years ago. And then I ended up going on a really dope spiritual retreat. And the shaman that was with me ended up going through this concept, human design, based on what time I was born, when I was born, where I was when I was born. And it was really, really special. And I learned a lot about it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So we got a lot of ones. Dope. So we have some people who understand human design. What's up, Dean? One of my clients is in here from the mastermind. Shout out to Deena Salta. Okay, we got some 2s. Okay, that's what's up. All right, so we're going to get ready to get to it. I want you guys to give you already know, a leaders create, leaders welcome. So when I bring Paige on, I want you guys to comment flowers. Whatever flowers you want, but send her flowers. All right, so let's bring her on, the one and only Paige Michelle. In from Ohio. Let's go. So we have another podcast episode. There she is. Welcome, Paige Michelle, everybody. What's good, Paige?
I'm loving all the love.
Yeah, nice.
You're so much good.
yeah, you got flowers coming in. You got some sunflowers. Yeah, you got a bunch of flowers coming in. I always love that. So yeah, first of all, thank you for taking some time today to jump on and pour into everybody and share, your purpose, your love, your passion with everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and really thank you for being open to this. I was talking about in my stories that it's not small, that human design is being shared at this level, especially in this industry at all. If we're going to use it to change the world, it's going to start with entrepreneurs. Wow. So this isn't small. So thank you so much for just being down.
Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait to learn how to be able to, first of all, I want to understand human design a little bit more. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And then like the practical side of it, of how it helps us, for me as an entrepreneur, right? How I make my decisions and how I tap into intuition and, you know, why I am the way I am and all these different things. So I'm going to pin a comment real quick. While I do, Paige, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, you know, kind of what led you to this passion of discovering human design?
Yeah. So I wasn't always even into personal development. I was like a paralegal, and I had barely graduated high school, dropped out of college, was waitressing. How can I find a job online? And that is how I found starting a business. And then when I started my business went from like 0 to 100 in 6 months. I did the typical like 6 figures in 6 months.
Right.
You know? And I was so burnt out. And up until that point, you know, I had gotten married. I had a baby. I got a business. I mean, on paper, I did everything I was supposed to do. You told me, like, this is what you do. You get married, you have babies. And I was like maybe 28, 29 at the time. I hadn't even hit 30 yet. I was like, I'm a boss. Like, I've done this before I'm 30. And it felt awful.
Wow.
I was overweight. I was miserable. The marriage wasn't good. I wasn't spending any time with my child. And I remember going to a retreat, and I was sat like this, like when she was giving me, you know, feedback, and I just wasn't open at all. I was just miserable.
Wow. Your heart
that
was
same
closed.
day. Oh, so closed. And so that same day, somebody was like, when was your child born? I don't know how that conversation started, but I told her, and she introduced me to human design. It happened to be on the same day that I decided to burn that business to the ground, because I was miserable, and I had just sold $40,000 worth of a program to teach people how to build a life and a business like mine. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do that. So
Super
I found it that
misaligned.
day, dove into it, and started to apply it to my life. And I was doing Facebook ads and sales funnels for businesses. And what I didn't understand was how 2 businesses would be the exact same, like on paper. And we'd use the same strategy, and it wouldn't work for one of them. So I was like, what is that? So I started to apply the human design, and now most of the time people come to me for business scaling and growth. And by the time they're done, they don't really even care. Like, the business scales it grows on its own because they are growing. So that's kind of how I got to this point.
Wow, it's interesting. You know, I truly believe that, you know, like life and business is just like, it's a spiritual game.
Yeah.
So like, of course there's like, as a leader, like I feel like I'm a visionary, and I'm always innovating, and I'm always looking for like strategy and the right, like, you know, tactics and ways to like execute at a high level. But once I married that side of me as an entrepreneur with also understanding Gerard at the core, like from a soul level, like everything changed. Like I like opportunities, the right people on my path. Like I got clear on like what that vision truly was and what strategies I should take to execute on that vision. So human design, I feel like what I've learned, and I've done it twice. I did it once in Peru and once in Joshua Tree. But what I remember was like, it was this concept of, for everyone that's listening to this right now, right? There's who you think your mind thinks you think you are, right? And then there's like who you actually are internally, like your soul. And I want to know here, who agrees, like, what's more powerful, like your mind or your soul? I'm just curious what you guys think, like your mind or your soul. Comment below. And this is when I started learning about like my soul, and you know how much even more powerful our soul really is, but our mind plays this role in like creating our identity. And you know, human design, I feel like, kind of gives you an insight to like what that soul is versus the mind. So maybe you can kind of how would you define human design in your words?
So the way that I like to describe it, it's one of 2 things. Sometimes I describe it as IKEA furniture, and then sometimes I describe it as a car. So I think I'm going to go with a car this time. So, and like the car really is like the soul, you know, like the soul is more powerful because it's going to get where it's going. It's going to get there. Regardless. But the mind is going to take it 500 different ways in the way that it thinks that it should be. And it can make it way harder than it needs to be. Right. So for me, human design was, let's say you buy a new car. It's like, I'm the type of person that gets in the car and drives it, doesn't ever look at the manual. I'm like, it's going to get where it's going. But then something starts to go wrong, and then you just sit around trying to figure out what it is, when you could just grab the manual that was built for that car and and get the answer like immediately. But you need to make it hard. So that's kind of what human design is. It's a manual. It's your manual for how you're best supposed to drive through life and make it through life. The easiest with the least amount of resistance. Like I said, if you're going there, you're going there. Maybe in this life, maybe in another life, but whatever you're supposed to do, you're going to do it. But for me, I don't need to make it so hard. I always just go back. My mind will tell me things all day long, but then I'll just go back to my design and be like, where is that? Okay, that's in an open center. That thought is an open center. So that's not me. Who am I? So then I affirm who I am and the truth over and over and over again. So that's human design. And I mean, that's what it is, but it's a synthesis of a few different systems.
Okay.
And what I talk about, even in business, systems are always changing. There's always going to be a system, right?
Yeah.
But the principles never change, ever. It's like natural law of things. In marketing, those principles do not change. The system changes. So human design is just a system basically to withhold and help us maintain these principles of life. That's the way I look at it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fire. I feel like it's interesting because like what comes up for me a lot of times when I think of human design too, because I'm like, so it's like does it relate to like your destiny? And then like you leverage human design to like helping you to make choices and decisions in your life? And like how do you, I guess, and then I guess let's start there. Like how do you leverage human design to uncover what is your path in life, right? And like, and is that like, does human design actually tell you what that path is, or really? It
tells you like the ultimate field or frequency or like ultimate thing is that you were specifically built to hold and to create and bring in this world. And the way that I use it, I don't ever like to, it's called an incarnation cross. So I don't like to even read it to people. I don't like to tell them my interpretation of it because it's so holy, you know, and it's very personal. But I believe if you just follow your authority and you make the decisions according to who you are, you will get there. Do you know what you ultimately, like I have a really great idea of what I'm here to do, right?
Yeah.
But the moment I'm like, this is it, I've done it, I'm dead. So like, I don't want to know exactly what it is. You know what I mean? I want to see it unfold. Like that is so attractive and like, it just feels so good to watch it and feel it unfold and to use it as a benchmark. I really love to be like, whoo, like this is way off, you know, like you're not utilizing any of your gifts and your potential here. But I think it goes back to the decision-making and the authority and then your strategy. The vehicle will get where it's going and it will become clear as it unfolds. So I don't know if the shaman or whoever else has read for you has ever spoken to you about your incarnation cross, but that would be something, oh my gosh, that would be something to look at. So for me, mine it's a very fixed fate. So it's like you're with me or you're not, like, you know what I mean? Like you want to be with me, I promise. But if you're not, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting there. And it's all about strategy. It's the cross of strategy. It's about strategizing in people's lives and matchmaking, problems with solutions, people with their people. And so if I'm not doing those things, if I'm not dabbling, if I'm not strategizing in any area of my life, I just know that I'm off. And then I need to go back to, okay, how am I feeling? I get back in my body. And if I'm feeling frustrated as a manifesting generator, then I'm probably off course a little bit.
Are you a manifesting generator?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a manifesting generator, too.
I knew you were.
If anyone knows what they are in their human design, comment it below. And why don't you talk a little bit about, like, what are the different designs? And then one thing I want to, like, mention that maybe you can touch on is, like, I feel like how does human design different from for me as an entrepreneur, I think it's powerful when we have these different assessments, right? So there's like Myers-Briggs personality assessment. There's, you know, the DISC. There's Gene Key, right? Like all of these different like tests and assessments, like really help us to understand who we are, why we are the way we are. And that gives us a little bit more clarity so that we can then step more into our zone of genius and understand our strengths and our weaknesses. And as a leader, it allows me to understand my team a little bit more, why they are the way they are. So it also helps me to be able to know how to move them, how to inspire them, how to get the most out of them, how to put them in the best position to win. How does human design fit in to those other assessments that are out there that are a little, that I feel like people understand a little bit more? They're used to seeing those personality tests or gene.
They're more comfortable because it's mental. Oh yeah, it's mental. Like it's a test, and it's like, and it will change over time as you mentally expand or grow or learn things, and you live. Those tests will change because they're mental tests. You have to answer questions. Your human design is based on where the stars were, obviously in the sky, but it's science. It's neutrinos. So some neutrinos are subatomic particles, and those subatomic particles are so thin that they can pick up the energy that's in these planets, and then when you're born, they come in, and then they dust you with it, right? And so these are the little. We know this. This is who you are, and it's not who you think that you are or who you think you need to be to get the answer that you want on that assessment. How many people are faking the funk on the assessments because they think that they need to get a certain answer to get a certain job or to be with a certain person or whatever? It's just, you can't fake who you were born to be. And that's what's painful for people, is they're trying to not be that person. So there's that. So that's the difference. I see it where I see they fit in is the mental. The centers up top, I can see why people get the results that they get. And then also with, the wealth dynamics are basically experiences, and those experiences are born of your creation and what's in your body. If people are wondering how to find it, you can go to jovianarchive.com to get yours. Okay. Or mybodygraph.com. So there are 5 types, and those types basically help you figure out how to, what your strategy is for moving your vehicle in the way that's with the least amount of resistance from getting to point A to point Z. So you've got manifestors whose strategy is to inform. It's basically to have an idea, to have this thing, this desire, this want, wherever the authority is, and say it. And just be like, we're doing this. We're building a pyramid. We're doing this thing, like whatever. And then the next type is a generator. And the generator has all this life force energy, this creative energy. It's sexual energy. It's creating things and putting it out into the world. And it's sustainable. It's motorized. It's literally like having a generator in your house. It's what keeps it going, right? So the manifestor says pyramid, and the generators are like, yeah. So like the generators are here to respond to life. They're not meant to necessarily have the idea and go make it happen. They're meant to respond to an idea that's correct for them. Where they fall into the trap is when they start to just create because they have this creation energy and they want to do the thing and they think they need to. Or they're placed in factory jobs, and all of basically the world, is working for other people. So manifesting generators are a little bit of a hybrid of the both. So they can inform and they can create. So the strategy is really, I want this thing, and then waiting for life to then respond. And it usually happens pretty quickly. The more you can just relax into that, and not trying to figure out the how. Because when I have an idea and I inform people of it, boom, like something happens. And then I'm like, I can have an idea and it may not be correct for me. You have to understand like why you want what you want. So the minute I have an idea, I'm like, this is great. I'm telling somebody, and then I go take a walk and I meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I have this business for sale. And I'm like, yeah, like totally. And then it just rolls. So that's manifesting generator. And then
I just want to mention, I want to mention, if I may, like on the manifest, you just said something that's just really powerful that I had to learn when I became a manifesting generator, guys, which is like, she mentioned you don't have to figure out the how when, and this is something that I think a lot of us go through, but I know for me, for sure, I would try to like force the how when I would have these ideas and go and force and create. And I remember when I worked on my human design, being told to learn how to respond to things,
Yeah.
like call it in.
That's so
I know
good.
that I have that idea, but like learning how to respond. And that was like teaching, that was the beginning of me learning how to learn how to tap into intuition. That
Yep.
little voice inside of me that would say like, uh-huh, or uh-uh. And we all have that. I feel like our soul is like this like super powerful gift that God has given us to be able to, it's like a little oracle inside of us.
And it's different for everybody. It's like placed differently for everybody.
Ah, interesting. Cool. But that was like a big for me, because when you said that, I was like, oh my God, you just reminded me, like, to respond to things, not have to go and force things. And that changed the game for me as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And just being so delighted, I have found that God's way is just like, it's just delightful. It's like, oh my gosh, I could have never, ever, like, who did I think that I was? This is so much better. It's just so much fun to watch it unfold. It just feels so much better than trying to figure out the how. It really does.
That's really cool. I have a situation going on like that right now on making a decision.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking about the how, and I literally said to myself, I was on the phone with my sister making this big decision, because I'm potentially going to go into a new program, a new spiritual retreat program. But like when it came to me, it was like, I was like, no, this is not why I came here. This is not what I expected. I do not want to do this. I've done right now in my life. But then I'm like, fuck. Because it's never what you want, it's what you need. And sometimes you have these things that come to us when you're least expecting it. And then it's like, you got to check in. And I'm like, but how? I got all this stuff going on. And as all this stuff, and my mind's going crazy, trying to make this decision. If it's not, I know internally when I checked in and I was talking to my sister, I'm like, but I know I don't have to worry about the how. If this is what my part of my path is, to do more of this work, then I got to just step into that uncomfortable feeling, knowing that like, that shit will get figured out on its own. God got me, but I got to step into it.
It's never about what you want.
Growth is. Right.
Yeah, it's never about what you want. Our wants typically come from our open centers. Like, I always had to check myself, my language. Like, I really want it. That's a problem. But if I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, my body is like, this is like a deep guttural desire. I'm like, this is in my body for not even the next step, because it's usually not what I want to do. But like, ultimately, I just want to feel whole and complete. And so if that's what I feel in my body, if it's guttural, it really feels correct, then it's like, fuck, yes.
But the thing that's interesting, Paige, that like everybody comment if you've like felt this way before, but like for whatever reason, when it hits the gut, it's almost like this nauseous scare. It's like when you're about to jump out of a plane, you're like, oh fuck, I don't know. And it's that feeling that like that fear rises, and then the ego and the mind and the, I don't know if it's the conscious or even the subconscious, like starts saying like, whoa, no, wait, wants to protect us. But it's like learning how to listen to when you have that fear or you have that gut feeling, like knowing like that actually is what's saying to you, yes.
And you have to trust it. Yeah, it's that trust, and how you build the trust, because somebody just asked you, like, what if it appears negative? A lot of the time it does. Yeah. Like, it's not anything I'm like running excited, like skipping to. But
that's what just happened to me.
What you have to remember, and I think you have enough experiences with this also, and this is where that's where the mind can be powerful and can be used and leveraged, is remember an experience where you did it, you've done that before, where you trusted, and then how it felt when you did it, when it happened in that moment. You have to use the mind. That's how you use the mind. The mind is, you are not, it's not running you. You are here to leverage the mind.
That was so powerful. I got a quick story on that. Because guys, every one of us, I want you all to remember one moment in your life where that happened to you. I'm going to share one, and then Paige, I would like you to share one. For me, I'll never forget. I was at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey, and I was sitting there. I had one of my videographers with me, and all of a sudden, this is before he started on Instagram, first time ever, fucking Will Smith walks in.
Of course.
And I'm like, holy shit, the French Prince of Bel-Air just walked in, and nobody's seen Will. Like, Will was not out there. Like, you just bump into Will Smith. Like, he wasn't on Instagram. Like, apparently he was thinking about, like, should I be on social media or not? There was, like, that weird time where, like, A-list celebrity actors were a little unsure if they should be popping on to social media. And this is right before he decided to go all in and start becoming this freaking expert at social media, right? So I look over my shoulder and I'm like, holy shit, it's Will Smith. And in that moment, my gut was like, you gotta go say something to Will. Mm-hmm. And even though my mind was like, nah, you don't want to bother him. Like, you know, that he's this, my gut was like, and I had that feeling. And immediately I used what Mel Robbins says, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was like, Truman, we got to go. So I go right over to Will. And I remember being super scared. I was going to bother him. And his manager was about to pull him on this like insanely big black private jet. Like he was about to leave. Yeah. And I stop him and I'm like, Will, Mr. Smith, I just want to, you know, say to you, like, I absolutely want to honor you, not just because of how much you inspired me and made me laugh growing up and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and your work ethic and the movies. I'm like, you're my favorite actor, but really how you've shown up as a father in the family that you're raising. It's so cool to see. And he just was like, yo, what's up, man? Thank you so much. And he talked to me for like 15 minutes, took a photo with me, hung out with me. And I remember that feeling where I could have said no. I could have been like, let it go. But that was my one shot, one opportunity. I took it. I did it. And now I cherish that photo and that memory forever. I remember that feeling walking away from Will, like, fuck, I just connected with Will Smith. So I don't know. I don't know if you have a story like that. Could be anything.
Yeah, I was like just one.
Yeah, I know, right?
This one, like living here is I wanted to live inside of that feeling. I was like, I want to never even maybe have the chance to forget. So I was living in Columbus, which is our capital, and I had gotten divorced. I ran away, whatever. I just wanted to get away. And I remember being on a massage table, and the girls also for Marion, and we were talking about Marion. And I said, my mind was like, I will never, ever move back to Marion. You know, like I will never go back to this small city, blah, blah, blah. And my gut like lit up, and I heard God say, oh, you're going back. He was like, you're going back. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but somebody said something that day about Marion or moving back to Marion. I was like, you know, but it gets better. So I'm looking for my mind is trying to figure out, I want this, and this. How am I going to make it happen? So I go and call people. I get on the phone. I go see houses. I'm running around, stressed. And I remember I don't know why this is happening, but thank you, God. Like, thank you. Like, I know what this is going to feel like when we get through this. Yeah. I know what it's going to feel like when we get through this. And the next day I got a call for this place.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a call for that. Work at all. I didn't have to push. It just came to me. And so every day I wake up inside of this place.
It's like God
just remembering that.
It's like God like rewards us for listening to that inner gut, soul, oracle. When you listen, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncertain, even when it's scary, but you listen there, and you don't worry so much about the how, but you just go and you take that step. You know, it's unbelievable. But that's when like God and lets the universe just bring to you what you need. And sometimes it's hard, but eventually on the other side of that, you always grow, and it leads you closer and closer and closer to that path that's meant for you and more abundance. So I love that. We got a bunch of people that said yes.
Well, that appreciation, like puts like gasoline on the fire. Like even if you can be appreciative in that uncomfortable feeling, because you know and you trust, it feels so much better. I want to make sure that we do the projector and the reflector. So
I was just going to go into that. So there's two more, right? There's two more human design types, right? So we got the manifesting generator, and then what else?
Yeah, so there's a projector, and so their strategy is to be invited. So you know how generators like responding in life, they're like, oh, yes. The feeling around a projector is like you're just kind of invited in. Like somebody invited you in energetically, or, you know, they opted in, or they're just like, they're looking at you, they're giving you a look, you know what that look is. Like from across the room, you're like, they want me to come over. It's not necessarily but they're invited by life. And then they also invite people in, and they share their life and their world with other people, and then people feel invited in. So that's their strategy. And then the reflector is a really beautiful and very rare type. It's 1% of the population.
Right.
And their strategy is to wait like 28 days, to wait a full moon like cycle to really make a big decision, because they're so affected by their environment, and there's such reflections that they're such a mere decision, a big decision, because they're not quite sure about it every day.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
they're changing as the transits change. So they're very, very rare, and it's beautiful.
Right.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've yet to like really meet a reflector yet, so I got to meet a reflector.
I
So
have a
guys,
lot of them in my life.
I don't know if you're a manifester, generator, a reflector, projector, or a manifesting generator like Paige and I, but definitely go through Human Design, go to the website, check it out, or better yet, just DM Paige and hit her up and work with her and see, like, and go through it, because it's like a really cool process. You can go through it on your own, but I highly recommend when you actually sit with someone who's an expert at it, you really start, because it's like a conversation. You could talk about like what has happened in your life. What are the decisions that you're making currently right now in your life? And what is it that you're looking for? Like for me, the big one was I was at Sacred Valley and I was going through dating, and I've never opened up about this, but I was, oh God, this is kind of scary, but I was having feelings about 2 women in my life. And I was trying to like understand these feelings and understand why they were in my life. And you know, the Human Design helped me to like really process who was that person that actually felt more of that soulmate as a lover, and who was someone who represented that it's possible that she was a queen in my life. And like just that one decision, like kind of going through it was really, really helpful in me. And this can be in relationships. This could be for you in business. This could be, you know, in just life decisions. But it really gives you an idea of like who you are, why you are the way you are. So definitely highly recommend you go and hit up Paige. So let me take a couple questions. Paige, feel free to chime in if you feel anything else. Can you talk about manifesting generators by Denny? All right, I'm going to look for some questions here.
I think like in the meantime, a really important question that I asked that kind of changed my trajectory with it and kind of is my little like niche and edge in it. Well, one, business, because I have extensive business scaling. You know, I'm a business owner, you know, an investor, like, so I know how to apply it to that. And that's one thing, but it's the centers, the open centers, because those open centers are going to tell you your biggest patterns and your loudest thoughts. And so when we talk about making a decision and then hearing all those thoughts and those things, when you know your open centers, you can identify those thoughts as not true very, very quickly. It's a hack to kind of any subconscious clearing.
What's an open center? Can you give me an example?
Okay, so in Human Design, you'll see when you look at the chart, there's colored in centers, there's the chakras, and then there's open white ones. The ones that are colored in. This is basically,
this chart is like a body, right? Because I've seen it, but
yes,
it's basically
it's a body graph. Yeah.
Right.
So you have all the centers, and the ones that are colored in, you have consistent energy. And that's you. It's unmalleable. That is who you are. Nobody's going to affect that because it's yours.
Yeah.
But when you're open, you absorb other people's defined centers. So you're taking in other people's information, who they are, and then you're amplifying it. You think that it's you. That's why those voices are so loud, because it's amplified. So if you know where those centers are, which ones are white, and then the common beliefs of those centers, money. I mean, it's a hack to anything.
This is so dope. Oh my God. I want to do it again. I want to do it with you.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. So cool. So like,
you can come on my podcast.
Because I heard someone ask the question very earlier. I think it was Alex. And he was like, can you leverage this to basically rewire or hack your subconscious mind? So is that
I wrote a whole book about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called The Patterns, and it shows you the subconscious beliefs and tells you what they're going to be, so you can identify them. And then there's how many modalities? There's so many modalities to rewire. It's like, pick your modality.
Yeah.
But for me, this is a map, and it's just a hack. I'm very efficient
and
strategic.
So sick. love it.
Yeah, so I'm just like, why would we make this harder than it needs to be?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, you can pick your modality.
You just gave me a dope idea too, because with the mastermind leaders create leaders, we tell them to go through Gene Keys. We assess them, where their time goes. We do a profit checklist so that they become more profitable in the business and figure out where their bottlenecks are. But like now you're inspiring me. Like we should include human design, like for all the leaders that come through. So I should talk to you about this. I think we can do some work together. I'm excited about that.
It's called the patterns, Alex.
The patterns, Alex. So yeah, we need that. I may need to send that to my clients. So let's see here. Let's do a question. We have Dean. Dean's actually part of the Leaders Create Leaders Mastermind. So shout out to Dean. What kind of exercises can you do to help you identify what your human design type is?
So, I mean, you just go and you go on the website and you find it out. And then from there, just learning who you are and then who you're not, and affirming who you are every single day and using your mind to be more of that person. And then also to like accept the patterns. You don't want to be mad at the patterns. You don't want to make the patterns wrong. You just want to accept them for what they are, love them for where they've gotten you and what you've learned through them, and then know who you are so you can just be more of that.
Fire. I fucking love it. Dean, we'll invite Paige to come through. So we'll see if she can help too. But definitely, what's the website again, Paige?
You can go to jovianarchive.com or mybodygraph.com, either one.
Okay, we got another question here. Let's see here. So I don't know what your name is, but comment your name. But how do you know that feeling isn't fear? Maybe it is fear, though.
Maybe I was going to say fear is irrelevant. Maybe it is fear. That doesn't mean anything. Fear is not like fear is irrelevant. Like the fear doesn't mean it's wrong. The fear doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means, oh shit, I'm afraid. Right. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm feeling afraid right now.
Yeah, right. Acknowledge that. And then now what?
It dissipates it, and the more that you do two things, really, the more you follow your strategy and make decisions according to your authority, the more fear dissipates, right? It gets less and less loud and less present in your body. And the more you feed your body and the more you're aware of your frequency. I always talk about, like, you can control your frequency. I would like dance in my stories. I'm like, I'm having a bad day today, but like I'm dancing right now and I'm raising my frequency. And so as long as you keep that high as much as you can, eating, high frequency foods, all of that stuff, and then you follow your design and your strategy, the fear gets less and less loud. But the thing about fear is when Adam and Eve did what they did, I mean, fear was created. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It just dissipates. And the only way to dissipate it is to move through it.
Cool. I don't know if I guess this kind of plays into the answer, human design, but I don't know if you see it in a different way. But Avilia asks, how do we find out what we are?
You go to that website.
Go to that website. Yeah, cool. All right, guys. So if you have any other questions, let's see here. We got Juan here. How is impacting technologies like artificial intelligence to predict the customer patterns, or do you use these technologies? Like, that's interesting, right? Like, how does this play into now business and scaling and how you look at patterns for your customers?
Yeah, I mean, how doesn't this play into scaling? So I think the most important thing, we kind of talked about this at the beginning, you touched on it, but you didn't know you were touching on it, is you started to have a different type of relationship with your business when you started to grow as a human being and to know who Gerard is, separate and apart from like having to be this business owner and be great at business, That's because you are not your business and you are a separate entity from your business. So your business has its own human design. It's not human. Yeah. So it's not human, but it has its own design. So when you understand what you bring and who you are, and then what the business brings and what it is and its destiny and your destiny, you get to play with it like that. Then when you're using this to scale businesses, at the end of the day, it's like you want to make sure that the opt-in that you're creating is, so if you have a defined center, right? I have a defined will. I'm willful. I'm all about competition, improving myself, self-improvement. It's healthy. It's who I am.
Right.
I automatically attract people who think they need that. They think they need to compete. They think they need to be better. They think they need to self-improve when really they just need to self-accept. So I need to prove they need to self-accept, right? So
Right.
that's the difference between the two of us. So I create lead magnets and I create things for people who think that they need to self-improve. So all of my stuff is language around self-improvement.
Because that's where they are.
Because that's who they think that they are.
Right.
So like that's an access point that I can speak to, knowing that when they work with me, they're going to be who they really are and they're going to get what they really need.
Yes.
I don't care about manipulating people who are already manipulating themselves. I don't care.
And that's like, again, back to the principle that doesn't change with marketing, right? Give people, it's like give them what they want, but then actually give them what they need. And it's like that's a core principle in marketing. So now this is a way for you to.
I leverage my design to do it. Absolutely. Right. And if you just market, and the thing about that is when you speak from those centers, you're speaking energy that you already have. So you're actually reserving energy. You're not wasting energy. When you speak from like who you think you are and you speak from what you want, what you think you want, or what you're lacking, you waste energy. And then you're tired because you're all day long talking out of places you don't have energy.
Yeah. Do you feel like this relates to design thinking? Juan just asked. Design thinking?
No, I mean, I think that so much of it makes up our logical mind and our logical thoughts. And there is a part of this to the design thinking. I think they play together, but I mean, there's so many different ways that this plays into AI and technology as well.
So I like this next question here. Thank you for asking the illustration project. How do you suggest to work with the channels or gates in the chart?
Yeah, there's so many ways. I actually just found another way the other day. I'm super dehydrated all of the time. Doesn't matter how much water I drink. I drink I drink what they tell me to drink.
Yeah.
As much as I'm supposed to drink, right? And I'm like, no matter what, I'm dehydrated. I said, I wonder if there's something in my design, because all the genes tie into your, oh my gosh, not thinking of the name of it. Not the atoms, peptides and valine and, all of the different vitamins and things that you need.
Yeah.
So I look to see what I already have in my body, because the genes connect to those things. They correlate with those things. And I have an abundance of valine in my life. And so when I'm eating foods that have a lot of that in it, I'm actually like, I have a lot. And I was like, I wonder what one of the side effects is of having too much of that.
Okay.
Dehydration. I was like, oh my gosh. Like now we can use human design to tell people exactly how much of a vitamin that they need, or what they already have a surplus of that they may not have already had. So there's that. And then there's like things you naturally have energy for. So I have gene 5 and gate 5, which is I automatically do turn things into patterns. And like I do the same thing every day. It's empowering to me. I have the energy for that. So if I don't know that I do that, then I could slip into really like unproductive routines, like drinking the same thing every night, the same time wine every single night. But if I know that I have that, then I can actually just direct that energy. So that's the thing about the understanding the channels and the gates. It's about energy management and saying like, okay, I have this gate of judgment. It's not meant for me. It's meant for the world.
Right.
It's meant to point out the flaws in the world. So when I know that I have that gate and I'm feeling very judgmental about myself or people in my life, I just shift the energy out. And like, who can I focus on that maybe needs a little bit of optimization?
I love it. All right, guys. So I'm going to kind of like pull it together here. I'm really excited to just leverage design thinking even more now with my business.
Yeah.
If you have any last questions, comment them. What's the website address again? It's Jovian Art.
Jovian, yeah. I love that my clients are on here like telling people where to go. Like they're like, this is what she meant.
Nice. Jovian Archive,
yeah. So you'll see, like, if you look at my Instagram, you'll read my posts. They're about life and they're about business. Yeah. I tie it all, but you also hear me tie it into design, and that's where the practicalities come. In art, everything is relational. So I'm always like, how does this make me more available for the people in my life?
So how do you work with clients? Like, so give me some examples of like someone and that came to you, leverage this, and how did this change their life and business really? Like, how does this affect you know, give me like a case study. I'm just really curious.
So I actually get overwhelmed when people ask me and when I have to put together testimonial pages because I have so many.
Wow.
I don't want to ever leave anybody out.
Yeah.
I mean, monetarily, people have taken this and made $500,000 in like months. People have been trying to sell a $97 product, shifted a few things, and ended up going into partnership and, you know, investing in other businesses because it was just a shift. One of my associate coaches was living with her ex-boyfriend, her mom, in basically poverty, and like could barely. She was one of the people that needed a scholarship to be in the program.
Yeah.
She went on to do $10,000 months, $15,000 months. Now she's an authority in this space, and she's living in this most beautiful, like she just got this most loving relationship. And I mean, I've had people come to me pregnant, or I've had people come to me not able to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And that's actually a big one. I have a lot of infertility stories to fertility. So, I mean, there just isn't an area of life it doesn't. There's access points. People come to me because they think they have a business issue, or they think they have a relationship issue, or they just want to be more as free as I am. You know, they see me living and they're like, you're living free. And so it's however people come to me, they'll get what they need.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for the work that you're doing, for listening to your calling. And I think it's so powerful. You know, I learned about human design through shamans working with plant medicine. And it's like, no, this needs to be like practical in the real world right now, leveraged for our businesses, for entrepreneurs, for leaders, for people that need to that want to break these patterns. So the fact that you acquired
I just acquired a magazine to do that exact thing. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for Vogue and whoever else to figure it out. And I was like, I'm just going to create my own. So to make it practical. So yeah.
I fucking love it. You know, you have my absolute support. That's something that I love doing, is building media company. So anyway, I can support you. Let's definitely continue to talk off the live. Thank you so much, guys. Drop her some flowers again. Definitely go and follow her, comment, and let me know on my last post, on Paige's last post, what you took from this. What's a takeaway? What's something that you took, an insight that you took from this? And if you want to learn more, just hit up Paige. Paige, thank you so much. I'll be in touch, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You're the best.
Peace.
Bye.
So guys, thanks for being on another episode of Leaders Create Leaders Live and Leaders Create Leaders podcast. You can check these all out. They get put onto my podcast. So make sure to go subscribe to the Leaders Create Leaders podcast. Tag me in your Insta story. I'll repost you. I'll also just be super appreciative. Let's grow this community. Continue to share all of to your friends that we do these lives on a daily basis. We have so many powerful people. I just got my buddy Colin Wayne that's going to be jumping on soon. Just a bunch of really great leaders that I'm reaching out to, that are connecting with me, that are all unique between life and business, consciousness and spirituality, but also like scaling and entrepreneurship, leadership, storytelling. So I appreciate you guys. Crush your week. Continue to just be the leader. All right. If you need me, hit me up. Definitely, if this was valuable to you, I want to know who are my day ones. Go comment on my last Instagram post. Also, I'm doing giveaways now. So everyone who comments on my post within 3 minutes and 33 seconds with the hashtag 333, I'm going to be doing live streams with you. I'm going to be offering also FaceTimes. I'm also going to be buying dinner for you and a loved one, and also just sending out some cash prizes. So go and comment, put my post notifications on, hashtag 333 on all my Instagram posts, so I know it's you, and I'll be picking winners throughout the week, every day. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Leaders create leaders. Let's go. Peace.